Coming up next on BG24 News.
BGSU is making the transition from the online classroom Blackboard to the new Canvas. But the move has been a little bumpy. Reporter Megan Gallagher gives us the latest.
The cold weather has finally hit us, so that means the men's chorus is back in the hot tub for their annual Chuck a Duck for a Buck fundraiser.
And the VCT program has created a new state-of-the-art packaging lab. But what exactly is a packaging lab? Reporter Madeline Fenning got a look at the new installment.
Plus, a look at your Black Swamp weather forecast and BG24 sports.
Wood County's live local news starts right now. This is BG24 News, live at 5:30.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Tyler Savino.
And I'm Parminder Bunga. The university is slowly starting to erase the online classroom Blackboard. All students will soon be moved to Canvas, which is supposed to be more user-friendly. But that hasn't been the case for those who have already started using the program. Reporter Megan Gallagher has more.
Students at BGSU are saying bye-bye to Blackboard this year. The long-eased operating system is slowly being replaced with Canvas, which will be in full effect in 2013. According to students, Canvas is a great user-friendly site, but the switch is making it hard.
I think it's fine. Like, I like how it's set up with your grades and assignments and everything, and like what's coming up is really helpful because then you like know when you have an assignment in case you miss class or something. But the only problem is like you can't get back to like the BGSU site. Like you can't like once you click on a few things, it doesn't go back to BGSU right away. You have to like actually type it in or something.
Why the switch? Dr. John Ellinger explained that Canvas will be more user-friendly for faculty and students.
Also has an e-portfolio attached to it. Currently, the Blackboard does not in its current state. And I think the other thing that I would say about it is it gives the same look, the same feel to both the faculty member and to the student.
However, the switch to Canvas comes at a time of problematic internet connectivity here at BGSU, and of course, Canvas is bringing problems of its own.
This fall, certainly during the first 3 days of school, wonderful time to do it. Canvas, about 30% of the Canvas customers got dropped out because they didn't size the database properly on the backside.
If you are having internet connectivity problems in your area, Ellinger encourages you to call ITS to fix the problem. There are also Canvas info sessions being held throughout the month of November. Reporting for BG24 News, I'm Megan Gallagher.
Thanks, Megan. Chairman of BGSU's Department of Architecture and Environmental Design was found guilty on Tuesday. Stanley Guidera is accused of hitting a police officer with his car and then trying to leave the scene while drunk back in September. He pleaded no contest to 2 counts of disorderly conduct, driving under the influence, failure to stop after an accident, and operating a vehicle without reasonable control. Guidera was suspended with pay from BGSU once the university found out about the incident. His sentencing is set for January 8th.
The worst feeling in the world might be getting out of a hot tub when it's freezing outside. And the BGSU men's chorus knows that feeling a little too well. The singing group is having its annual Hot Tubathon, where they camp out in a hot tub on campus for 3 days. Camp people can pay $1 to throw a rubber duck as far as they can, and a member in the hot tub has to chase it. The group is trying to raise money for their spring tour. If interested in chucking a duck, the hot tub will be outside the education building until 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. BGSU is now leading the state of Ohio in both cardboard creativity and functionality, thanks to the VCT department. Reporter Madeline Fenning has the details on the newest installment.
When you hear the letters VCT on Bowling Green State University's campus, the first thing most students think of is graphic design. However, the Visual Communication Technology department might just have a new identifier. BGSU's VCT program recently expanded their print media program by introducing their new packaging lab, complete with advanced, heavy-duty, and unique machinery.
We have this large format, it's called the UV printer, stands for ultraviolet, because it We can print on any material because once the ink, it's basically like a large inkjet on steroids. Once the ink hits the material that we're printing on, it's cured by ultraviolet light. There's an ultraviolet light that comes and shines on the ink and immediately dries. So what we do in this lab and what they do in labs like this in industry, it's a packaging prototype lab. So we can print on packaging material, corrugated material, it's called folding carton material, which is the material that a cornflakes box would be made out of.
The packaging lab's new king-sized cutting table uses computer technology to finely measure cutting precision and perfectly perforated edges. The VCT program received a grant for $150,000 plus additional software and hardware, adding up to a value of $5 million. However, receiving this grant was not an overnight process.
And it just became, as we talked, became a very viable grant. And I spoke to Dr. Troutman about it, and we decided to go ahead and apply for it. And that was about 2 or 3 summers ago. And so it's been a long process, but a very fruitful one. And it's been great to see our students embracing the technology that we brought into the program.
Bowling Green State University is the first university in Ohio to receive this grant. BGSU is also the only university in Ohio to offer a packaging lab to its students. Faculty members of the VCT program believe the lab will provide opportunities for students during their career at the university, as well as after graduation.
The most important thing that the packaging and display lab brought to our program was opportunities for students to work in the packaging industry. The packaging industry in the state of Ohio brings $4.7 billion to Ohio's economy, and also about 20,000 jobs. And our program is going to be, or is the only program in Ohio that brings these opportunities and jobs to the students.
From BG24 News, I'm Madeline Fenning.
If you are not a VCT student but would like to take a print class that works with the new packaging lab, you're in luck. Intro-level print classes that use this new printer will be open to all majors.
Issue 2 was voted down by a large margin on election night this week. The issue would have created a nonpartisan commission that would redraw district lines in Ohio. More than 60% of Ohioans voted no, and nearly 40% voted yes. If it had passed, the commission would have consisted of 4 Democrats, 4 Republicans, and 4 independent citizens. Previous line drawing methods will continue. And hot tub denizens aside, I feel like I've seen a lot of people out there enjoying the beautiful weather. Lacey Hagan?
If you've had any time to spend outside today, you've definitely noticed the temperatures. It's pretty mild for this time of the year. We're actually sitting at about 50 degrees and really not much of a breeze. So it feels pretty nice outside, and it's definitely nothing to complain about. But if you keep watching, I'll have a forecast coming up in a bit.
Thanks, Lacey. Coming up next...
Shaken baby syndrome is becoming a concern in Wood County, and a local organization is doing their part to educate the community. Reporter Gemma Schultz will fill us in.
Plus, the Northeast is dealing with another storm while still recovering from Hurricane Sandy. Stay with us. Shaken baby syndrome is a problem in the United States, but it has also shown up in Wood County. A local program is trying to inform the community on how to avoid such a tragic incident. Reporter Gemma Schultz gives us the details.
Infant head trauma is a serious issue and is cause for concern for many in Wood County. Child Services is currently working to share information with the public about this subject. Infant head trauma, or shaken baby syndrome, is a brain bleed caused by shaking a child. Wood County has had 5 reported cases of severe infant head trauma to date. The Offices of Job and Family Services here in Bowling Green is trying to raise awareness for this serious issue. The Job and Family Service Office partners with organizations to get helpful information to parents about head trauma prevention.
We have partnered with the National Center on Shaken Baby, which is in Utah, and we are working with that center and Wood County Hospital to provide new parents with a DVD and pamphlets of information about parenting, what not to do when you're frustrated with your child, shaken baby syndrome, all sorts of information that they can have.
Citizens of Wood County are also concerned about the issue.
I believe that awareness for Shaken baby syndrome is important because I'm a human development and family studies major, and I'm going to be working with families and their children, and I want to specifically work with abused and neglected children, so this would be along the lines of what I would be working with, and I think it's important that we get awareness out there.
Head trauma can be detrimental to an infant and could cause blindness, learning disabilities, or in some cases, even death. If you're concerned about the care of an infant, please call the Child Services Hotline or visit their office. For BG24, I'm Gemma Schultz.
The Jobs and Family Services of Wood County is located right here in Bowling Green on Gypsy Lane Road. JFS offices and call center are open Monday through Friday.
If Hurricane Sandy wasn't bad enough, the Northeast was hit with another large storm yesterday in the form of snow. Many have yet to get power back from the hurricane that swept through last week, but the snow has knocked out power for thousands more. Forecasters have predicted gusts up to 60 miles per hour in New York and New Jersey, and 2 to 4 storm surges. All the major airports had to cancel most, if not all, of their flights due to the weather.
The man behind the offensive film Innocence of Muslims has been sentenced to a year in prison after he violated his probation from a 2010 bank fraud case. Egyptian-American Mark Youssef brought his probation because he used a fake name to get an invalid driver's license. Youssef's film was thought to have caused riots in the Middle East because of his depiction of the Prophet Muhammad, and had resulted in the death of 4 Americans, including the U.S. ambassador of Libya. These were later deemed a terrorist attack unrelated to the movie. After his year in prison, Youssef will serve 4 years of supervised release.
Coming up next.
This year's election is officially behind us. Find out students' reactions to all those campaign ads finally ending.
Plus, a look at your Black Swamp weather forecast and BG24 sports. Stay with us.
Now, Wood County's live local forecast with BG24 Black Swamp weather.
Hi, Lacey Hagan here with a look at your local Black Swamp forecast. If you take a look outside, we're sitting with a mild temperature of 49 degrees, and we have a lot of sun outside, so this is pretty nice for this time of the year, and we really don't have much of a breeze. For tonight's temperature, we will be getting down to about 32 degrees, sorry about that. We'll have clear skies, and our sun will be setting at about 5:21 for that time change that we've had. So for any evening activities you may have planned outside, it's really not going to be too cold for this time of the year. For tomorrow's forecast, we'll have quite a bit of a warm-up. We'll get to about 57, which is pretty fair. We will have plenty of sun, so no need to worry about any precipitation or any cloud cover. It'll be a really nice day outside to go take a walk, or maybe take a jog or walk the dog. Anything you want to do outside tomorrow will be looking pretty nice. For tomorrow night's forecast, it'll only get down to 43. So once again, any outside activities, it'll be just about perfect. Really not too cold for this time of the year. We will have an increase in cloud cover, which will follow into Saturday's forecast. We will actually be rising up to about 65 degrees for Saturday, which will be really nice for this time of the year. If we take a look outside at our map, we really have no precipitation coming from any area, anywhere around us. We are all really dry, so that's pretty nice. Nothing to be too concerned about. For our local temperatures, we again are sitting at about 50 degrees, which is very fair for this time of the year. And that's pretty much the story for, everywhere around us, including off to the west. But as we go to the east, if you may have heard about the hurricane-like weather the snow that they're having over in the east, we're pretty lucky. We're only sitting at about the 50s, so much nicer for us. The wind speeds, again, are very low for this time of the year, too, below 10 miles an hour, so that's very, very nice to be outside in. And for your 5-day forecast, Friday will be up to 57 with sun, and Saturday we will rise up to 65, which will be very, very nice. And Sunday we will be about the same temperature, but Monday we'll have a cold front come through, which will bring some precipitation, and Tuesday much, much cooler temperatures.
Looks like a great weekend. It seemed like those campaign ads were never going to end, but we finally made it, and we've got some students' reactions about the elections coming to a close.
Because I was really sick of all of the political campaigns on my Pandora station. but my person didn't win, but that's okay. I'm just glad that I can finally like go back to normal without everyone's tweets like filling up my timeline about who they wanted to win or who they didn't want to win.
Now the election's over, it's a huge relief not having to always have to listen to things. Like, I don't have to change the channel on TV when an election ad comes on just because they're hard to believe.
I'm glad it's over. I'm kind of neutral about the whole situation. I mean, I'm glad that there's no more political ads and everybody blowing up my Twitter and Facebook and people yelling in the hallways. But I'm glad that people, are happy that it won. I'm sorry for people that are disappointed, but I'm just glad it's over.
We've had a couple days to digest all the election results, and it's looking good for the ladies. Women politicians had a successful Tuesday night. Democrat Elizabeth Warren beat incumbent Republican Scott Brown in the Massachusetts Senate race, and New Hampshire now has an all-female congressional delegation and a new female governor. In January 2013, 20 members of the Senate will be women.
Marijuana also had a successful night at the polls. Colorado and Washington State passed the legalization of recreational marijuana, but it is too soon for pro-pot groups to celebrate. Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper says the state will still have to get through federal laws before citizens can legally buy and sell cannabis. Massachusetts and possibly Montana have joined 17 other states by the legalization of medical marijuana. Legalization can possibly save taxpayers up to $10 billion spent each year from enforcing marijuana prohibition.
Same-sex marriage has been a hot-button issue this election, and it seems attitudes have progressed. Maryland, Maine, and Washington voted to allow for same-sex marriage. In Maryland, only 51.9% approved gay marriage rights, but Wisconsin elected Democrat Tammy Baldwin, who is the first openly gay person in the Senate. And President Obama is the first president to openly support same-sex marriage and get reelected.
And now Perry Yost joins us for our first look at BG24 Sports. Perry?
Thanks, Parminder. Coming up next on BG24 Sports, Falcon football got their 6th straight win last night over OU. I'll have a wrap-up of that game, and we'll preview the men's soccer as they head to the MAC tournament to face #1 seeded Akron. All that and more coming up next on BG24 Sports.
It's un-Falcon believable coverage that you won't get anywhere else. This is BG24 Sports.
Welcome to BG24 Sports. I'm Perry Yost. Thank you for joining us tonight. Falcon football was in action at Ohio University last night. After falling behind 7-0 in the first 6 minutes of the game, the Falcons would score the next 19 points going into the half. OU's special teams struggled all night, mishandling 2 snaps on punts, miffing a punt return, and adding to the rough night, the BG defense blocked 2 punts. The tough Falcon defense also sacked Ohio's quarterback Tyler Tettleton 4 times. Anton Samuel led the Falcon offense with 181 yards rushing on just 29 carries. Now, after their 6th straight win, BGSU moves to 5-1 in the MAC and 7-3 overall. Their next game will be Saturday, November 17th at home against the top team in the MAC, Kent State. To basketball now. In BG, the Falcon men's team in action on Sunday, taking on Central State. Huge day for Jordan Crawford. First half, coming off a screen, Crawford pulls up at the foul line and knocks it down. Part of a 30-point day for him. Then, in transition, Craig Seeley no-look drop-off to Austin Calhoun. He puts it in. Calhoun had 19 points and 14 boards. But here's the play of the game. Off the miss, watch Calhoun soar above everyone for the putback. Falcons would win it 73-60. Falcon volleyball will be back in action Thursday at Miami and Saturday at Northern Illinois. BG will close the season with the hopes of 2 wins to at least share the MAC conference title. The Falcons are tied with Ohio at 17-9 overall and 12-2 in the MAC. With 1,348 digs, Ashley Dunn leads the Falcons into this weekend. Few players are recruited from her school. Few play with her passion, and even fewer enjoy her success. Junior Ashley Dunn is seeing it all come together this season. Her play has helped the BGSU volleyball team make a push for the conference title, and she has picked up several individual honors in the process.
Dunn is easy to spot on the court. One reason is because she plays libero, and the player at that position wears a different colored jersey for substitutions. But Dunn also stands out because of her play.
This year, I've really just been focusing. Our coaches taught us the one-on-one mindset. We do this drill, and it's coach on one, and they can hit as hard as they want at you. They can throw the ball in the corner of the gym. They can tip the ball short. And I've just been focusing on playing one-on-one and just going after everything.
That kind of fearlessness earned Dunn the Mid-American Conference Defensive Player of the Week honors for 3 straight weeks last month. In volleyball, playing defense means digging and passing.
She passes on a dime. That's all her. No help from anyone else. When they serve at her, she passes and lets us run our offense. So defense is, I heard her mention, is a mindset, and she just has it, and she has what it takes.
Butterfield knows Dunn better than anyone. The two are teammates and roommates.
We've literally, from the very beginning, have been with each other through this whole BG experience.
Part of that experience meant adjusting to a new coaching staff this season. And for Dunn, that meant changing her mechanics.
We had a little bit different approach to how we wanted things to be done, and she struggled at the beginning, which is fine. We told them, be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and she was definitely uncomfortable at the beginning, but she went through it, and I believe that's why she's been playing the way she's been playing.
Better known as Dunner, Ashley has over 400 digs this season. That's almost 4 per game. That's defense.
If it weren't for especially our block has been doing amazing, and they have a great block setup. I couldn't play as well if they didn't set up such a great block up there.
Dunn gets us out of trouble a lot when we don't block very well.
But there are times when Butterfield saves Dunn off the court. That's because next to volleyball, Ashley's favorite thing is clothes.
We have to pick out her outfit if we have a banquet or if we're hanging out, going to dinner. We have to pick it out the night before because she needs all day, all day.
Playing for the Falcons is something Dunn has always imagined. She's from Bowling Green and is a longtime BGSU volleyball fan. But now she has even a greater interest in the team's success. And why not? She's the reason for much of that success. And she has the honors to prove it. For BG24 Sports, I'm Ken Garland.
Men's soccer has made it back to the MAC Conference Tournament after a year of absence. Seeded 4th in the 14 tournament, the Falcons will face number 1 seeded Akron tomorrow at the U of A. BGSU enters the game with a record of 8-8-3, while the Zips are 15-1-2. Akron has won 12 straight matches and are unbeaten in the last 13 games. But don't count the Falcons out yet. With BG goalie Michael Weiss, who has 94 saves on the year, the Falcons are going to be tough competition for Akron. Game time tomorrow at Akron is 7:30 p.m. Good luck, Falcons. To Falcon hockey, after a win last Friday and a loss last Saturday, the Falcons moved to 2-5-2 overall on the year and are preparing to face Western Michigan this weekend. BGSU has struggled at WMU's home rink in recent years, losing 6 straight against the Broncos. The Falcons will be at home Saturday night for the Ladies' Night. Game time for both days is 7:05 p.m. Looking ahead to this weekend, Friday women's tennis will be at WMU's Super Challenge. Men's and women's cross country will both be racing at NCAA Great Lakes Regionals. Men's basketball against Lake Erie, ice hockey at Western Michigan, and as mentioned earlier, men's soccer at Akron. Women's basketball on Saturday versus Madonna, volleyball versus Northern Illinois, and ice hockey at home against Western Michigan. That's all for BG24 Sports. I'm Perry Yost, and back to you, Parminder.
Thanks, Harry. It seems one has officially flew over the cuckoo's nest. Misdemeanor animal hoarding charges have been brought up against a man who was housing over 400 birds in an Illinois home. Police found 478 birds in David Skibertis' house. They also found mounds of garbage, bird feces, and bird seed. Skibertis started collecting birds 7 years ago and admits that his collection has gotten out of control. He now faces up to 6 months in jail and will appear in court on December 4th.
Well, I guess in this case, a bird in the hand is not worth 400 in the house.
That's for sure.
For Tyler Savino, Lacey Hagan, and Perry Yost, I'm Parminder Bunga. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments or story ideas, check out our BG24 News website at bg24news.org. We'll see you on Tuesday. Good night, everyone.